They'll probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flow, chew you out, ain't fair, Jordan.
Yeah, good morning, YouTube. It is Izod. But anyways, man, before I even get into what I want to get into, shout out to everybody that's supporting the channel since day one. For the people that are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification for all future videos. And like I said in prior videos, this will not be so one track as far as like solely on politics or solely this or solely that. My channel tends to bounce around. For the people that know me from before, knew my channel was really controversial, but I digress. Sorry about that. Let me just move this camera. Now, what I really want to get into is this whole thing with Trump. And a lot of people, which is to be expected when it comes to the Liberal Party, or should I say like the far left, with their extreme views, they're going to be happy that Trump is being indicted. But, you know, not to burst bubbles, but just because you're indicted doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be found guilty. Now, there's a lot of people out there that should be in handcuffs. I mean, such as Joe Biden and his son, and a lot of other people that masquerade behind the scenes. But of course, you know, the focus on Trump. People consider the lesser of two evils depending on which side of the party you're on. And to be honest, it also shields them from exactly what's taking place. Now, what a lot of people haven't really been paying attention to, the ones that are asleep, is the fact that, you know, people are constantly going at these pedophiles and really going at certain groups in order to weed out the individuals that are nefariously there, or there for nefarious reasons, such as the people that were trying to piggyback off the whole LGBTQ community, like Mamba, Namba, or whatever these weirdos are, trying to piggyback. And some have went as far as to dress in drag attire in order to proclaim that there's something that they're not, in order to get them closer to children. And for the most part, a lot of them that have really stepped out and said that, you know, putting sexualized content in the schools is not to be accepted, that is a bigger agenda, and they're not necessarily saying it's their people. They're saying that it's people that are infiltrating their movement, which it is really no longer a movement because they've established exactly what it needs to establish. But these people are infiltrating their movement in order to piggyback, in order to reap the fruits of their labor, which in a twisted way of saying that they basically, you know, act as if they're part of this group so they can have access to children and things of this nature. And you know, it's now it's on them to weed them out. And this story is not necessarily about them, but it's just to say that all of a sudden, when these people are starting to get exposed, here it is, the indictment on Trump. Elections are coming close. Biden doesn't want to take the backseat, knowing that, you know, when it comes down to people's a way of thinking, a lot of things are changing because Biden is proven to be false, and a lot of things that he promised, he's reneging on. And that's just a few other things. You know, he just reinforced a deal that they had on the table. I know people say it's a nefarious deal that he made, signing away the U.S. sovereignty, but you have to, I guess it's just from your point of view on how you take it and how you see things, which may be considered you know, doing away with our sovereignty when it comes to certain things. But like I said, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Now, let me just get into what the deal entails. See, it was already on the table before they had it, but I guess they were just reinforcing it. And it said the declaration reaffirms previous joint efforts between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, such as working together to promote buy-in for ambitious cuts to emissions, to meeting the goals set by the Paris Agreement. It promises to ensure safe, orderly, and humane migration, to combat racism and gender bias violence, which, I mean, you could say that's a good thing. And I'm sure that, you know, when you read the whole thing, it's, you know, they have this one thing, it's called it's basically what the president wants to accomplish within a certain amount of years. And you can actually go read it. The pamphlet is like really long. I can't even say it's a pamphlet because at the end of the day, it's massive. I think it was something like, I read Bush's and it, you know, I didn't even finish it. It was like thick, and plus scroll, I'm not with the whole Kindle and all that. I like to smell a book, so I decided to, get more than halfway through it, and then I fell off, mostly because certain circumstances, things took place. But what I'm saying is things like this that they try to go up under the radar, but they have a real significant, I won't say significant, but there could be ramifications behind it. Now, what type of ramifications, I'm unable to say at this time because I'm still researching certain things. But what I wanted to say is why people are so focused on Trump being indicted and looking for an indictment for whatever he may have committed. A lot of people, the thing is, like, there's a lot of things that are did within the government that are shielded by certain people and seen as innocent, which had which caused real problems, not only in this country but abroad, because they turned a negative eye towards us, which most people have a negative view of the United States, period, outside of the ones that want to come here and get a better life. But the ones that seem to be anti-American or have an anti-American sentiments have a different story to tell. But while all this was going on, a lot of people, and this has been taking place for quite some time, but Russia and China and I think India are now, before it was just Russia and China, they making this deal to devalue the American dollar by dealing in gold, and the fact that I guess Russia is actually willing to pay a higher price for oil, and there's a slew of other things that are taking place at this time, but they really want to create their own currency, which would downplay the American dollar, which the American dollar is already taking a hit anyway, and basically being seen as useless because it doesn't hold the same sway it did. And now with Brazil getting on board, and I'm assuming a few other countries joining on board, it's all did out of malice. There's nothing really particularly how should I say, they're not doing it just to do it. They're doing it because they purposely want to sink the American economy, which, to be honest, the American currency is really not owned by the Americans anyway. It's like the people that own it are really not even a part of this country to begin with. But that's going down another rabbit hole. The whole thing I'm trying to say is just to pay attention to exactly what's going on and see what people are trying to accomplish, in the fact that why we are so bent on the Trump trial and Trump being indicted, for the people that are giddy about that, there's a lot of other things that are taking place, which, to be honest, is really a silent war going on, which I'm assuming will eventually lead to a greater conflict, because there's nothing that a person hates more than to have power and lose it. And for the U.S. to lose power in not only the region but the world, and seen as a second-rate superpower, which Russia and China and a few other, because money rules everything. Money starts wars. Wars are started over money, and there's always an agenda behind it. All I'm saying is just open your eyes, pay attention, and realize that the whole thing that's going on with Trump is just a smokescreen for what's really going on behind doors, and the shady business that Biden and a few other people have taking place in. All I'm saying is pay attention and see exactly what's taking place. There's a lot of things that are going on behind closed doors, and there's a lot of things that are being utilized to shield people from exactly what we really need to be focused on, like the whole pedophile thing, the whole China and Russia and a few other countries coming together to create a currency. And you figure if a country is willing to buy oil at a higher rate instead of taking it, like, it's you really have to really pay attention to that. Like, why would you purposely, if you're trying to stay or maintain a certain level of wealth, why would you want to buy higher? It's not like the oil is greater. It's just that they know by buying oil from certain people eliminates certain people. And I think that if you're not paying attention, it's gonna go over your head. Understand that we're pushing closer and closer to a war. The U.S. will eventually see this as an act of, you know what I mean? It's just, there's somewhere or another, the powers that actually back this country will see it as an incitement. You know what I mean? Like, it, just watch. And even though I don't fault Russia, I mean, they do what they do as far as them going after pedophiles in certain countries that I will not name, because last time I mentioned them, my channel took not even a strike, it's just guidelines. Sorry, my allergies are all over the place, but yeah, just pay attention and you'll see what the real agenda is and what type of chords are being made. Yeah, it's definitely a shit show, and you know, just to pay attention to what's being shielded and what's should be really newsworthy, and the fact that pedophiles continue to prevail because they continue to prevail. Like, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I don't have enough time. Like, I'm really crunched, you know, work and children and things of that nature. But yeah, man. I don't know. Hopefully people will wake up and see that there's an agenda and people are pushing a certain narrative in order to keep you from seeing the true picture. With that being said, I'm your boy Zod, and you enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow.
Kneel before Zod!